Alright, Lesson 5, Standardization, Calibration, Laboratory Equipment. Lesson 5, Standardization and Calibration of Laboratory Equipment. Critical Task 101-523-3405. Introduction. In order to perform laboratory measurement to be accurate, all the instruments must be calibrated to the standard. This ensures the laboratory test measures the given accurate account of the condition and quality of samples being tested. Samples to be tested. The part of developing laboratory equipment is the standard opposition procedure. Calibration standard opposition procedures. Establishing calibration standard opposition procedure. Following section include the purpose of the section. Describe the purpose of preparing maintenance and standard opposition procedures. The scope of the section. Describe the broad concept of the equipment calibration, proper record keeping, training, and personnel responsibility. Section describes the specific responsibility of all the personnel assigned to the laboratory. Procedure. The section describes the procedure to be followed with the concern of the equipment calibration, identification of the equipment that needs to be calibration procedures, establishing calibration schedule procedures for internal C-level and external A-level calibration, safety, environmental consideration to be addressed during the operating calibration procedures, record keeping, personal training on delay, weekly, monthly, etc. basis, the instructions for the calibration equipment, the applicable technical manuals, record keeping. The section describe the purpose of using the instruction, completion, and disposition forms of the record keeping system that must be followed. The equipment maintenance. The section listed for the equipment system that must be calibrated on a periodic basis. Miscellaneous. The section contains other specific, such as definitions when used and not the specific forms of symbols, special instruction, calibration of equipment. Reference. The section listed the reference used the guide for the personal standard opposition procedure. Implementation of the calibration standard opposition procedure. Following steps are included: identification of the equipment that requires the calibration, establishing the calibration schedule for the equipment of the piece of the equipment, establishing the procedure for internal C-level calibration, identification, external agency for the A-level, the calibration, identification, safety, environmental consideration to be addressed during operational calibration procedures. Part B, implement laboratory equipment calibration standard opposition procedure. Calibration requirements. These may be found in the Technical Bulletin 43-180 with applicable ASTM methods, military standard 978, and Technical Bulletin 750-25. Personal requirements. According to the Army Regulation 750-25, the part laboratory personnel as responsible for ensuring the laboratory equipment listed with the Technical Bulletin 43-180 is periodically calibrated. Calibration logs. They are not required. These have been valuable in maintaining all the equipment audit trail. They can also be used to schedule the C-level calibration workload with the laboratory A-level calibration of the TMDE. Calibration and testing equipment. In addition with the control and laboratory equipment components with the test kit may also require calibration sample gauge kitting that contains the image, the type, and bob. The must periodically calibrated kit for the contained thermohydrometer, the thermometers, the hydrometers will need calibration. Personal responsibility for the operation of these kits should contact the nearest mobile-based petroleum laboratory for C-level calibration support. Most of the time, one-for-one exchange each of the item can be arranged, but the captured fuels test kit does not require the calibration. A level calibration is not performed with the petroleum laboratory personnel. It is performed. A level calibration is not performed with the petroleum laboratory. Performance is performed by personnel with the TMD calibration center. The petroleum laboratories can either schedule a TMD calibration laboratory team to perform a A-level calibration on the site and send the equipment to the TMDE calibration repair center with a combination of both. Choose the method depends on the regulation policy. The specific command the laboratory sending the equipment with the calibration must have at least 2 sets of equipment on hand, never turn in both sets at the same time. Rotate them to keep them calibrated on hand. The DA Form 2402 exchange tag is filled out and attached to each of the items of the equipment that must be sent to the calibration facility. Sending of the petroleum laboratory files with the bottom of the portion of the tag on accountability purposes. C-level calibration standardization performed by the petroleum laboratory personnel using A-level calibrated set of equipment. Once item the equipment is passed for the C-level calibration committed with the DA labeled 80 U.S. Army calibrated instrument is either attached with the item of the equipment with the DA Department of Defense Form 314 and the kept on file with the items equipment with the fail of the C-level calibration shall have the DA Form 2417 U.S. Army calibration system rejected instrument and attached so that they will not be used. The items equipment along with the items equipment being returned to the A-level calibration facility should be turned into repair disposal. Verification requirements is necessary to verify the calibration requirements for the laboratory equipment that has been established in accordance with the Technical Bulletin 43-180, the applicable ASTM test methods, military standard 978, and manufacturer specification. Part C, checking calibration due dates, review calibration suspension according to the schedule on Department of Defense Form 314, and files review of the C-level procedures. Calibration due dates of the Department of Defense Form 314 used to record the calibration due dates for the petroleum laboratory equipment. The due dates are based on the manufacturer's recommendation calibration requirements. Check the calibration due dates for the necessary for the check. The Department of Defense Form 314. Each of the pieces of equipment recorded the periodic calibration for the equipment that needs to be calibrated in other locations necessary to be sure that the turn and procedures have been followed correctly. Alright, review calibration suspense valve with completing accuracy. Calibration suspense valve view the track period calibration various equipment. Be sure to review these suspense valves, regulatory accuracy and completeness. Review laboratory internal sea-level calibration procedures. DA form label 2080 should be checked to ensure the calibration procedures are being completed within accordance with the technical rules in 750-25. It is necessary to verify the laboratory technician follow the calibration guides and applicable technical manual manufacturer's instructions for specified equipment. Lesson 6, Petroleum Laboratory Supply Critical Task 101-523-3400 Series. Introduction. In order to smooth out Operation Petroleum Laboratory, detailed records must be maintained. They relate to the supply, use, and replenishment. The details should be described in Petroleum Laboratory Standard Authorization Procedures. Supervisors have the responsibility to maintain these records and ensure the supplies are ordered and properly in order to carry out the mission. Part A, Ordering Supplies. General order procedures and comments needed to cover the detailed appropriate section of the Laboratory Standard Authorization Procedure. View of the Laboratory Standard Authorization Procedure. Each individual is assigned a base and mobile laboratory will capable of ordering the supplies for the laboratory. Supply requirements may vary due to the type of laboratory. Technical manual listed components maintenance requirements for each of the type of laboratory. The appropriate technical manual for the three types of laboratory are as follows: base laboratory technical manual 566421414, mobility laboratory TM 566421513, air mobility technical manual 1066421613, and P. Supply requirements. Laboratories determine the table organization, equipment at tow, the table, the distribution allowances, technical manuals, military details, federal specification, military standards 3004, military handbook 200. When ordering supplies, it is important to know the type of the supplies being ordered with the 6 major types: non-expendable major pieces of equipment, non-perishable type of the items, expendable, perishable, emptied up, and used up, use of the breakage, and list of the keep of the track of the items broken during the laboratory operations, major end items, the component parts, secondary piece of equipment to major end of the item, such as the test apparatus and tool mobility, laboratory tools of the toolkit, self-service supplies, perishable supplies such as paper, pens, toilet items, etc. High dollar uncontrolled supplies, cost of excessive controlled items such as fuel, ammunition, and paint, etc. All supplies that have needed to be ordered shall be identified in one of 4 ways: national stock number, line item number, manufacturer and technical manual, hand receipt. Laboratory supplies in order requisitioned using one of the 3 forms: DA Form 2765, issue for the request for issue or turn-in; DA Form 1348, Department of Defense single line item requesting system manual; DA Form 3161, request for the issue, the turn-in temporary issue. When supplies are ordered and received, they are listed and noted in respective to the TO, DA Form 20640, to the document register for supply actions. A separate document register is kept for the non-expendable. The expendable items used in the laboratory. You must account for each of the pieces of laboratory equipment usually offered in charge of the person. Accountability equipment is the property offered the number of the laboratory supply item. Check as all this equipment must be obtained with the local support supplies. Due to is rare requirement for the item. When there is no demand for the item, the Army will not keep the item in supply system. The commercial catalogs may be obtained directly from the company or the supplier's office, and the record will be established for the replenishment expendable laboratory supplies. Therefore, when you are down to establish a reorder point, you must requisition the quantities to replenish the required stock level. Overpack supplies. Most expendable addition is required for the deployable laboratories. The supplies used in deploy usually 60 to 90 days. Expendable supplies unit and supply channel can be established. Part B, supervisor responsibility. Verify technicians to fill out with the break list of the established procedure for questions. Supplies for the use the Fed log. Keep the track required to supplies. Receive supplies and store supplies. Lesson 7, direct mobile laboratory operations. Critical task 101-52. 552-3-3404. Introduction. The successful deployment of the mobile petroleum laboratory and critical selection of the appropriate site and verifying the preventive maintenance check services to ensure the laboratory has been packed, secured, and developed the mobile laboratory standard authorization procedures, whose task will allow the operation running in smooth and efficiency. Part A, deploying, redeploying of the mobile petroleum laboratory. The movement of the mobile laboratory requires numerous documentation coordinated with the procedure to smooth and safely organized operation model of the transportation. First step of the planning the deployment movement of the mobile laboratory is determined the non-mission effective form of the transportation: air, military, commercial, air, laboratory, mobile laboratory, air, mobile laboratory, water, rail, or road. Documentation procedures, shipping a hazardous material part of the petroleum laboratory's military aircraft provided with the technical manual 38250 for the forms. Documentation is filed with the Department of Defense Form 1387-2. Special handling data certification, air shipping papers, waivers. Waivers are used during the tactical contingency operations. Example, the Air Force waivers can be found in the Field Manual 1067-2. Requested shipment, military aircraft, headquarters of the United States Air Force, headquarters of the Department of the Army. Reason for shipment, reason why other modes of transportation cannot be used, the date of the movement, route, and the type of the aircraft, required point of contact, or origination designation. Preparation of mobility laboratory. The equipment storage technical manual 10-6640-215-13. Equipment stripped and put in drawers or locked. Equipment drawer tapes. The electrical system technical manual 10-6640-215-13. All outlets checked. All proper switches is off. The main breaker in the off position. All lights and glasses taped. The testing apparatus technical manual 10-6640-215-13. All baths drained and emptied. Apparatus secured with the designated location. Testing reference. All reference will be stored in the designated locations. The slide doors on the reference area will be taped closed. This shows a mobile workstation. Other laboratory pre-deployment requirements: weight and center balance of mobile laboratory inventory, all chemical and reagents. Mobile laboratory overpack final preparation. The tie-down generator, 60 kilowatt, 30 kilowatt hazard military shipping safety review. The military safety data sheet. The non-commissioned officer in charge of the base petroleum laboratory is responsible for the ensuring mobile laboratory for the applicable military safety data sheet for each chemical, solvent, reagent, and used to deploy with mobile laboratory review. The Department of Defense Form 1387. Non-commissioned officer in charge, also responsible for the review of the Department of Defense Form 1387-2. Part B, the developing and implementation of site selection movement of the critical during pre-deployment selection and appropriate site. Select the site with the ample space for the maneuvering laboratory and all support equipment. Avoid the grounding, excessive slopes. Excessive sloping could hamper the leveling of the laboratory. Verify the site is firm and it has well-drained terrain and is relatively free with surface rocks and large stones at least 500 feet away from any other operations not uphill or upstream from other facilities which might have the past escaping vapor of fuel. No adjacent low areas with the dangerous vapors may be collected near a stream pond, minimum 500 feet from the environmental reasons or an established water facility. This provides an outside water source for the petroleum laboratory water system. As an easy access to the road nets, as at least one road should be run into the vicinity of the petroleum laboratory. Utilize GPS coordinated movement and selected by site Aipd 11 58 25 291 13. Perform the setup of the EA, initialize the EPLGR, and obtain position, enter waypoint, navigate to a waypoint. Part C, Mobile Petroleum Laboratory Preventive Maintenance Check Services. General preventive maintenance checks procedure verification. Ensure the following general procedures are accomplished by assigning the personnel concerning the preventive maintenance check services of the mobile laboratory. Inspect the petroleum lab body exterior, starting at the rear of the cover, the rear and curbside, roadside, front, top, and the bottom. Inspecting the damaged chairs and brakes and corrosion. Service the petroleum laboratory exterior of the IAWTM 9 23 30 36 362 14 and P. Inspect the surface electronic control units in accordance with the technical manual 541 20 37 14. Remove the over box. Then inspect the laboratory broken equipment for the loose and not secured. Close the door and vents to determine if the leaks exist. Then inspect the doors and diamonds and rotted seals and tightness and closure. Inspect the interior of the vents. Evidence of the water damage, fungi, mildew, corrosion, inventory section, and then assigning against the components for the end of the item. The basic item is listed the TM 10 66 40 215 13 Appendix E. Inventory consumable supplies are contained with the technical section TM 6640 215 13 Appendix E, and ensure the damage to discrepancy AW's AR Army Regulation 73511 AR 73511-2. Operational checks. Set the petroleum laboratory up to the conduct of checks to include the setup, power up, shutdown procedures. IAW Chapter 2, Technical Manual 10 666 40 215 13. When operators are available, power can be safely provided by the van and ensure the damage or discrepancy is reported in the AIW AR 73511 and the 73511-2. Part D, verifying the mobile laboratory has been packed and secured. IAW technical manual. The chemical hazard waste storage, loose test support equipment, supplies, drain clean, laboratory equipment, manual, meter recording, pressure gauge, barometer, and properly secured. All gas system bottles and turned off and properly secured. Ovens and burner out furnace are cleaned and diskent and removed in discating cabinets and stored analytical balance at the cover with secured vibration mounted the shipping straps and brackets are required with the retaining screws and tight with the contents cabinets are properly stored for the movement gas alarm. Tested all AC main power panel. The circuit breakers set to off except for the AC A1CB, A1CB2, A1CB9, A1CB11, A1CB13. Mechanical room of the power panel number 2 circuit breakers is set to the off except for the A15CB10 water tank steam generator, high pressure boiler, air system, moisture trap are all drained. Power panel number 2 circuit breaker A15CB10 set off. A overpack has been secured with the laboratory compartment with the tie down straps. AAW loading ground diagram. Main power panel of the circuit breaker A1CB1, A1CB2, A1CB11, A1CB13 set off. The emergency light switches to the S17 and S1718 set off. Exterior, the mechanical room, the laboratory components with the access of the rear access door closed and locked. External power, the generator set off. The main power, the removed for the patrol and laboratory connector. Generator set connector cleaned with the stored roadside storage to ensure the protective covers are installed with on all electrical connectors. Ground cable is removed. The ground line in the power input panel. The power input panel closed and attached. The ground clamping the cable, removing the ground rod. Ground routing the driver puller removed from the ground rod and the driver pull the ground cable. The clamp are clean and stored in roadside storage and box. Drain hose and disconnected, clean and stored in roadside storage box. Hose adapters and stored protective covers are installed with the deck drains. Utilities back stores closed and locked. Gum bath and fume exhaust door closed and latched. Pure purge, exhaust and intake and doors and closed and latched. ECU, canvas covers rolled down and secured. Ladders removed for the rear access. Laboratory component access. Mechanical room air access. Doors removed and stored. AW Technical Manual 923336214P. Rear platform stored. ECU maintenance platform stored. Party development of the mobile petroleum laboratory standard operation procedure is responsible for the petroleum laboratory supervisor to develop a mobile laboratory standard operation procedure. Following content is required for the effective efficiency standard operation procedure. Preventive maintenance check services provide procedure for the mobile laboratory provided in the technical manual 610 66 42 15 13 chapter 4. Set up power and shutdown procedures. Set up and power down and shutdown procedures provided with the technical manual 10, 66, 42, 15, 13 in the chapter 2. Supply requirements procedure. Mobile laboratory storage procedure. Overpack. Black card procedures for recommended format with the mobile laboratory standard operation found in field manual 10, 4, 26 appendix B. And that takes care of the series of direct operational maintenance for laboratory facilities QM5181.